this is the wisdom of tonic herbalism, especially with Chinese herbalism and Taoist tonic herbalism, which is Chinese herbalism that focuses on tonics instead of herbs that are more allopathic. So allopathic herbs are herbs like echinacea, where you can't really take them every day prophylactically. You take them when you need them, and then you have to stop. Otherwise, they'll kind of imbalance you. They'll overstimulate your immune system if taken too long, too much. Whereas tonic herbs, you can take almost every day, non-stop, full dosage, and you're great. You just live longer. You have more vitality. And the herbs, typically, most of the herbs, you feel this great vitality immediately. You get not a stimulation, but a real upliftment where if you're tired and groggy in the morning, or if you need that afternoon pickup, it's going to give you that. But the wisdom is not behind how good you feel that day from it. It's how good you feel 30 years later from having it. I mean,
or even a few years,
yeah,
because this is one of the things where, like, when you're in this lifestyle and the you know, more niche, like with adding a lot of superfoods and tonic herbs, and like you're diving into this more like special area within the raw food scene and just conscious living, you are getting a really deep amount of nutrition. So for people who want to have a health transformation, but it seems really overwhelming, you got to do it step by step, small, bold steps, right? That's the way to do it. So 1 year, 2 years down the road, you look back and you say, wow, I don't even look or act or feel the same. I'm, you know, totally different person, but it's not like you pull the rug out from your entire life and changed everything overnight. Now, of course, there's people who have done that, but most of the people on the planet are not willing to do that. They just don't want to, nor is it practical. So if you're just like adding things in and doing one step at a time, and then a couple years later, you look back and you are a different person. And this is one easy way to start. I mean, we have to make it easy for people and for ourselves so that we're consistent, so that we stay compliant. Otherwise, it's all for nothing if we're just like, oh, once a week we just pop this in. It's not going to be good enough to really get you the short-term and the long-term results that we desire and that we need to really be the healthiest version of ourselves.
We've seen that the whole diet world doesn't work because most people who do a diet, a lot of people are like always on a diet. I think half of Americans are like, they're always on a diet.
Yeah.
Except that diet's not working for them. They end up the yo-yo effect where they end up, you know, they cheat their diet, and their diet is probably not optimal anyways. So we need to like not even go that route anymore and do the route that truly works and is what people who are successful with the diet are actually doing. And that's adding things in instead of focusing on restricting things.
Right.
So if you add, let's say, one superfood in every 2 days or something pretty consistent.
And what would be a superfood?
Like goji berries, you try raw chocolate, you try wild blue-green algae, you start putting spirulina on your salad because it tastes so good like Parmesan cheese. Consistently enough, you've added an abundance of food into your day that, and you can only eat so much during a day anyways, that the stuff that you know no longer serves you starts to fluff off, and you don't miss it because your nutritional cravings aren't there because you replace the nutrition. And the taste cravings too, because these plants are like so aromatic. They have wonderful essential oils in them that completely outdo your typical like cooked comfort food recipe. Then we have the winning recipe. We have the winning strategy that will continue to work for us long term. Probably 9 out of 10 people immediately realize that they don't want to have a lot of willpower in the beginning of shifting their nutritional protocol, but 1 out of 10 people probably will have a lot of willpower and they'll be willing to like down the bitterest thing and change things up. But still, that 1 out of 10 person, if I'm looking at you right now, that willpower will not work your whole life. You'll get sick of the willpower. So you still need to add things in and make it easy and fun so that things are automatically fun no matter how willing you are to change things slower or faster. And when you have food that is much more approachable to you, it ends up being more approachable to your friends and family too, so you don't end up as the health nut, you end up as the inspiring person who gets results, and people start to ask you what you're doing, and you're just like, yeah, try this. Instead of being like, oh, you don't want to have this bitter, weird thing I'm making. It's like, hey, try this amazing, goji superfood smoothie that tastes awesome to everybody, and everybody feels the benefits of right away.
Well, a couple points worth mentioning about herbs in general is that Like, what is a tonic herb? Well, it's something that it's safe. Tonic means that it's safe to consume every single day. So it's not something that you do every day and you have to take a break because you've accumulated too much in your body. They're safe to take every single day. They're time proven. They've been consumed for thousands of years. I mean, just like going back in time. We have time on our side in terms of herbs. And another thing is that they're very alkalizing. So that's something that I think is a little bit lesser known. So there's a lot of us doing green juice really often. You know, it's really energizing, it's cleansing, there's a million reasons to drink green juice, of course. But tonic herbs, they're also alkalizing. So that's something really important to know as well. So if you are one of the people, like some of my clients are like, I want to get out, I want to get more alkaline foods into my diet, and they feel acidic, or they're achy, or have arthritis, or have all of these issues going on, or you feel sick, whatever it is, this is an easy way to get more alkaline, and you're just adding a powder into whatever it is you're already doing. So if you don't have the time in the morning to make green juice, you can just add this to some water, sweeten it however you like, and then a couple days a week start adding in green juice and do it all together. But it's just one thing that you can use as a complement. So you're not having to do like 7 days a week, wake up early, and stress yourself out about the new habits that you have to bring into your life to really be your best.
There's only two truly alkalizing categories of foods, and that's green leafy vegetables and most herbs. All other things, nuts, seeds, meat, roots, fruits too, are acid forming. And some fruits are like neutral. So doing the green vegetable juice is really awesome, brings a lot of vitality, but it's only half the situation in terms of truly getting the alkaline minerals into your body. Just to be clear, you don't want to become wholly alkaline. You want to become neutral with your pH. So you have a balance of acidic foods and alkaline foods in your diet. But to get all of those alkaline minerals beyond magnesium and calcium, there's other ones too, and all of those alkaloids that stimulate your nervous system and endocrine system to be much more robust, then you have to go to the herbs. And in the raw food world, which a lot of us are familiar with, herbs are not quite clear, because most of the time they're not raw. Right. And when I first went raw, I was like, man, I can't do tea.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's cooked, right? But actually, raw food is by far these cooked herbs the most, because we really need that grounding, super rich, dense nutrition that the hot water extracts and teas provide.
Well, and herbs also, like there's a lot of people doing a high raw diet, which we are. There's a tendency for some people to just be carried off into energy land, like they're a helium balloon just being sucked away, because you get so much life force and energy and vitality that you can't help but just be floating, right? But there's a place, and you could tell what those kind of people are. Oftentimes it's the Vata type. But whatever it is, it makes no difference. It's like we need to keep our feet rooted on the ground, feel really centered and balanced, like we're connected, but also have energy. So there's a really good balance that that you have to strike, and roots and herbs can provide that.
Well, in the herbs, isn't the idea that they're being heat extracted is that's the best way to actually extract the stuff that you're trying to get into your body and assimilate them, that in their raw form they're not as effective or not as absorbable or bioavailable?
It depends on the herb, actually.
Oh, okay.
And really, a lot of the herbs in Longevity in Bottle are actually cold water extracted, and we use a pressure change to break it up so that instead of using the heat to open up the cells of the root or the mushroom to get the active constituents out, the pressure change in these big machines does it. Some of the ingredients, like the mushroom mycelium, are whole, raw, living foods. Most of the ingredients are hot water extracts, and about a third of the ingredients are the cold water pressure-changing extracts. And actually, I like the idea of doing the cold water because technically it is raw, and you get a little more flavor profile with those. And if you want to really take it further, to the detail of that, there's a certain effect in your digestive system where if you have like a majority cooked foods, like over 50%, it could actually trigger an immune issue. So if you actually have a little more of the cold water extracts, then you won't trigger that issue.
This is really balanced in a lot of ways.
Definitely.
You've thought a lot about all of this. Wow. How long have you been working on this product?
A year and a half is when I truly started it. Before that, I created the Wild Bar with my team at Ancient Sun, and that was back in 2005 when we first formulated the Wild Bar. And that's when I really understood that as humans, we don't eat mono foods. That's for all other animals. As humans, we are naturally alchemical. Even if someone eats a standard American diet full of GMOs, they're still alchemical because they're always balancing their foods.